It's 7 o'clock. This is the Spring Hope, Town of Spring Hope Board of Adjustment meeting. Today is Monday, July the 22nd, 2019. I'd like to start this meeting out as we do all of our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask everyone that can, please stand, turn and face the flag, remove your hats, and join Commissioner Lucas and lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, as the town manager let me know, our first bit of business this evening is we need to select a chair and co-chair for this committee. And this is our first meeting. I have someone that would like to be the chair or nominate somebody to be the chair.
I'd like to nominate Georgia.
Nominate who?
Georgia.
She's the ETJ member. Georgia.
I'm right here.
Okay. Not the stage up front. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Do we have a motion for a co-chair? We'll take care of both of these in one vote. Somebody's phone is ringing. I'd like to make a motion to nominate Commissioner Tucker.
Second.
All right, I have a motion for Georgia Form and Ricky Tucker as the chair and co-chair. There's no more discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. I will give you my seat. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Get out of the center seat.
Which is here. Okay, after we do this,
Who's that?
Georgia Warren.
Georgia Warren.
Don't break my gap on that. Take it on your pay.
okay, I guess the first motion is the
So first item.
item that we're going to talk about is the minutes of the Spring Hope Board of Adjustments, July 16th,
2018.
2018, correct?
So again, that was with the prior board. Obviously, they were disbanded when we moved to create the Board of Commissioners as a new Board of Adjustment. You all can approve the minutes so that we have an official set of minutes approved from last year. I know that this board doesn't meet frequently. We only meet by case situation when a certain item or permit request or whatever comes before the Board of Adjustment. So typically moving forward, we'll do kind of an unofficial kind of email request on agendas a month after our meeting. And then the next time we officially meet, we'll approve the minutes again so that we'll have kind of some kind of standing or typical kind of motion that we'll go through so that we'll set a standard moving forward, since this board technically won't meet on a regular basis.
Okay. The next item would be...
No, I'm sorry. So the next thing is that everyone's going to read through the minutes.
That's
and
correct.
Then if the board chooses to approve the minutes, we'll wait for a motion and then a second. And then
Okay, all right.
So I'll go ahead and make the motion that we approve the minutes from July 16th, 2018 Board of Adjustments.
Second.
Motion approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we have some new business, correct? The new business is a public hearing for the conditional use permit regarding the community center at the 203 North Walnut Street.
I'll make a motion that we go into public hearing for the conditional use permit.
Second.
Motion approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
On the third line.
Okay, all in favor? Motion approved.
Okay, so we have before you, again, the CUP request, conditional use permit application request. At this time, I'd like the town clerk to ask anyone who is going to speak during the public hearing section to take an oath, since this is a quasi-judicial process.
Someone is gonna speak.
Anybody else? No, speak. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes. I do. Okay, cool. You can stand here.
Yes, ma'am. You stand there, state your name.
Savannah Richardson.
Okay.
Johnny Perry.
Mr. Gary, Ms. Richardson.
So they're here representing as the applicant for Spaulding Family Resource Center. Again, we're talking about the specific location at 203 North Walnut Street, which is the former Spring Hope Daycare Center. They are wanting to use it as a community resource center. What the activities that they're currently conducting at the Spaulding campus. So you have a staff report in your packet. Again, they are a grant-funded nonprofit agency, and they have a board as well too, overseeing the activities for their group. Some of the activities listed specifically are senior activities. They have seminars and that are geared towards healthy living, management, and well-being.
Right.
On occasion, they have entertainment as well for the seniors. They also have play group and play therapy for young children as well on site. And they also have a computer lab access for classes that they have sometimes in the evenings as well. They typically operate 3 days out of the week. Different hours, obviously. I think they have later hours for the evenings that they have the computer course or computer lab access. And again, in your packet and your packet, you can see the zoning where they're currently located. That specific parcel is at the very northern tip of what's the known as the Central Business Zoning District, so basically our downtown zoning district. And basically everything to the north, east, and west is zone R8 residential. And then you have an aerial image showing again the layout of that parcel. Now, the same individual owns the top 2 corner lots, and they're both used specifically towards the daycare center. The one that abuts East Nash Street and North Walnut Street right there on the corner is the parcel with the playground equipment on there. And again, looking at the plan consistency and the proposed location, the staff report states that it is consistent with our 2020 Town of Spring Hope land use plan. Again, the specific location is a transition basically between our central business district and the residential, which makes it a potential ideal location for a community center and access to it, obviously with some on-street parking as well as parking on-site in their lot, and also with the sidewalk access we have around town leading up to that center. Again, with this conditional use permit request, at the end of that staff report, there are listed recommended conditions, and I'm sorry, there should be only 4 of them. The last one is number 5, but it should be 4. The first one is listed as the conditional use permit shall expire with any violation of any conditional use permit conditions. Any additional permits and/or inspections required by local, state, or federal agencies must be approved prior to operation. Any additional exterior lighting added in the future shall be engineered as not to shine onto adjacent residential properties. And the last one, signage will require a separate zoning permit approval process if they change or update or add a sign for their new location. Now, this, after our public hearing, as we're discussing through the process of consideration, this Board of Adjustment can make recommendations to the changes of any of those conditions. You can add or remove or amend any of those conditions. So, and I'll give an example. If you were to make a recommendation that they only operate during the week or certain hours for their use or whatever, you could ask for that. And for this to move forward, both parties, the applicant and the board, would have to agree to all of those conditions. And again, they're here this evening to answer any questions that the Board of Adjustment may have in regards to their requested use at that specific site. So this approval would run with the land. That means in the future, any community center would be able to operate at that 203 North Walnut Street address.
Okay, any questions here? I have one question. You are currently scheduled to open 3 days, is that correct?
3 days.
Okay, and they are, which days are they?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay.
Tuesday and Thursday, 9 to 8 because of the classes. And on Wednesday, 9 to 5.
And it's a nonprofit, which is a 501(c), is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, and you have all that paperwork in order with this
Yes.
town? Okay. Any other questions?
Do you foresee see the hours changing, days in the near future?
That depends on, or if, we get, it just depends. I can't say, but it depends. And I hope that it will change a little bit, it will let us know that we're growing, But as now, foresee now, it will be 3 days.
It's going to depend on the community. We may change. Depends on the community and how we blend in and what they want. So it's going to play a big factor. But basically, it's going to be standard.
I guess thank you. But I'm asking too, do they need to, when we vote on this and discuss this, do we need to not just restrict them to 3 days a week?
No.
Rather than just keep coming back, right?
Right, so there's nothing in here on the conditions on what their schedule or days open or closed are listed.
Okay.
So let's just say theoretically, you go through the motions and you approve this use as a conditional use permit, then if they want to change the days or the hours of operation, they can do that on their own. There's no restrictions to that unless it's added in here as a condition.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Can anyone speak from the floor?
Yes.
You got something
Anyone
to
from the
say?
board would like to ask any questions?
I have a question. In the past, you allowed the Spaulding not to use your building. Sometimes they have meetings, and they can't go to our building. Would that still be the case?
You can, but for the parking, the Railroad Street here, because you see, the area that we're in.
Right.
And as long as you can use all the Railroad Street or whatever, but you still can come and have your meetings.
So I've discussed with them as well too about some of the parking concerns. So they typically have 2 to 3 employees depending on certain days. And some of their staff may come in only for a couple of hours, especially if it's a play therapy or play session, and they're only there for a couple of hours. And of course, with the children, they're being dropped off. And for other activities, for seniors, some people may walk, but there probably will be, many that will drive as well too. And so they're letting them know as well too in the future that if all the on-site parking in their parking lot is used, there might be a few that are on street right in front of their facility, obviously a few number. But they will have to probably access on-street parking in our downtown along the railroad tracks where a lot of people take advantage of parking there, for example, when they visit Showside or the Florist or other businesses, or also our town hall parking lot as well too as public access. They'll just have to walk basically 2 blocks to the facility, but they will let their clients and residents know that visit their facilities that that's what they'll have to do with the limited parking there.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions that anyone on the floor would like to come up and ask any questions here? I've got one question. I'm new at this. I just started my first day. Now, the whole process that you have as far as with your facility there, I guess currently you're located at Spaulding, is that right?
Yes, correct.
How long have y'all been out there? It's been
We started the program back in the 90s, I believe.
Okay.
This particular program.
And it's been very successful.
Very.
Okay.
This is one of the reasons that we want to continue. As you read the report, financially we can't continue staying there.
Right.
Because it's under new management.
Correct.
And one of the things that we wanted to do is find something cheaper that we can afford so we can keep the program flowing.
Right.
Because it has worked and it's getting better and better.
Right.
And that's the main reason.
Right.
It's really worked very well.
That's great. Like to hear that. And I've seen cars there and, people in and out, and it seems to be very successful. And I commend you, for doing this. It makes a big difference in our town. Anyone, any questions? Get him vote?
So at this point, we want to come out of closed session, so we're waiting for a motion in a second.
We'll do a closed session.
So I'll make a motion that we come out of public hearing.
Sorry.
Second.
We all agree? Okay. Thank you.
So,
Okay, now we want to consider,
Is that 8 motions?
yes, separately.
conditional use permit.
So yes, at this point, the board can consider actions, and again, from the staff report, for recommendations and suggested motions, there are 8 listed motions, and you would go through each one of those individually, again, with a motion from a board member, a second, asking again if there's any questions amongst the board members before taking the final vote. And then for motion 8, there's 3 options based on these findings. And again, these findings are things that the board will have to consider, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is 1, will the activity materially endanger the public health or safety? That's a consideration that you'll have to have for this request. Number 2, will it substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting properties? 3, will it not be in harmony in the area in which it is located? And 4, will it not be in general conformity with the land use plan or other plans specifically adopted by the board?
Okay. And we review the 8 motions.
And at this point, we want to go to the first motion.
Correct. The first motion is CU 19-01, within the jurisdiction of the town board according to the table of permitted uses.
So I'll make a motion that the C 19-01 is within the jurisdiction of the town board according to the table of permitted uses.
Second.
Everyone agree? All in favor? All right, motion 2, CU 19-01.
So, motion 2, make a motion that CU 19-01 is complete as submitted.
Second.
All agree?
Aye.
CU 19-01, completed as proposed.
So CU 19-01 is completed as proposed. It will comply with all requirements of the zoning ordinance. Is that correct?
Yes. Second.
All agree?
Aye.
CU 19-01 does not satisfy finding one will not endanger public health or safety.
I think CU 19, or I make a motion that CU 19-01 satisfies that it will not endanger public health or safety.
Second.
All agree?
Aye.
Motion 5, CU 19-01, finding 2.
I make the motion that CU 19-01 satisfies that it will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property.
Second.
All agree?
Aye.
Motion 6, CU 19-01,
Make a motion that CU 19-01 satisfies that it will be in harmony with the area in which it is located.
Second.
all agree? Motion 7, CU 19-01,
Make a motion that CU 19-01 will be, it satisfies that it will be in general conformity with the land use plan or other plans specifically adopted by the board.
Second.
all agree? Motion 8, based on the findings of fact and the evidence presented, the Board of Adjustment issues recommendation report.
Yep. So I'll make a motion that based on the findings of fact and the evidence presented, that they issue a recommendation for approval of CU 19-01.
All agree?
Second.
All agree? Okay, it's approved. Congratulations.
So for other business, you want to ask if any of the board members have anything they'd like to discuss related to Board of Adjustment business
Okay.
before we consider this?
All right. Just go to each commission.
No. We can ask.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any other business?
No, I don't.
Just say one
Yes.
on behalf of the Family Resource Center and all the visitors, friends, we want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to come out and request this permit, and we're not going to let you down.
Thank you, security.
We thank you for making it available.
Yes. It makes a difference in our town. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You will remember that name. In a good way.
My first, yes, I will.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. All agree?
Second.